Very good morning to one and all. Hope you all have gone through the classes that we are sending to you, and especially coming to the concepts of physics, we are going to conclude fluid statics. So especially in fluid statics, we have dealt with the properties or the behavior of liquids which are at rest. And the very interesting concepts of fluid statics is all about Archimedes principle and laws of flotation. So here itself, I conclude this chapter on taking few examples, especially connecting with the laws of flotation, because regarding Archimedes principle, I have given few examples already in the earlier class. Coming to the laws of flotation, a body floats in a liquid if the density of the body less than or equal to density of the liquid. And apart from that, whenever a body is floating, the apparent weight of the body is 0, because the actual weight W equal to mg will be balanced by the upthrust or buoyancy force Vn into dl into g. These are all about laws of flotation. So let us take one point here. Look at this. Here there is a wooden block whose mass is capital M, is floating in a liquid. So that some x column of the body is outside. Some x centimeters of length of the body is outside. Some y centimeters is inside. You suppose, of course, some y centimeters is inside. Now the body is floating in the liquid. Whenever your wooden block is floating in the liquid, immediately you come across an equation. The total weight of the body, mg, balanced by upthrust, Vn into dl into g. This is equation for floating. Now here the acceleration due to gravity gets cancelled on either sides. Of course, m equal to V in, volume of the body present inside the liquid. If you are supposing A is the cross-sectional area of the body, then volume of the body present inside can be written as A into Y. Cross-sectional area into length inside will give volume of the body present inside the liquid into density of the liquid. Here is the equation. But here, these are all the equations written when my wooden block of mass m is floating in the liquid whose density is dl. But in this particular situation, my point is, I wish to make the wooden block to submerge completely in the liquid. I mean, I wish to make my wooden block to just float in my liquid. Then what to do? If I wish to make it like that, you people may say, sir, take density of the body equal to density of the liquid, then it will happen. But the point is, in the same liquid, my body should just float, so that completely submerged. Yes, what is running your mind might be true. You need to offer some additional force to the body. You need to push down the body using some additional force into the liquid, so that you can keep your body submerged in the liquid completely. Sir, if I am removing my applied force, yes, again your body will come back to your original position. My point is, what you need to do to keep your body submerged completely in the liquid. Yes, what you are expecting is right. You need to push down with your hand. You need to offer some additional extra force to keep the body submerged completely. Sir, why to apply? Why? Yes, because when you are expecting your further volume of the body getting into the liquid, then the volume of the body present inside the liquid will increase. So that upthrust will increase, but weight of the body remains constant because W equal to mg. So when a little more volume is getting into the liquid, then buoyancy force will increase. So to balance that, you should apply an extra force vertically downwards. That is the reason why the additional force or the extra force required is equal to the additional upthrust or extra upthrust that is caused on the body when it is submerged completely. How much additional upthrust will be acting on this body? Yes. Usually upthrust formula Vn into dl into g. Here how much additional volume getting into the liquid? Additional volume, because we are calculating some excess upthrust acting on the body. So additional volume, yes. Cross-sectional area into length outside, A into X. That is getting into the liquid additionally, A into X, into dl, into G. It is the additional force required to keep the body submerged completely. This is the concept. So usually while you are coming across numerical applications, you may say a body of mass m and cross-sectional area A is made to float in a liquid of density dl. What additional force required to keep the body submerged completely into the liquid? Means he doesn't give about the values of x and y, but he may give the total height of the body. When total height of the body is given, first you will calculate the length of the body inside the liquid. Then you will substitute here length of the body outside the liquid. Shall I repeat? A body of mass m and a cross-sectional area A is made to float in a liquid whose density is dl and the total height of the body is h. This data will be given. Hope you are writing the question. A wooden block of height h and mass m, cross-sectional area A, is made to float in a liquid of density dl. Then what extra force required to keep the body submerged completely in the liquid? Then using this data, first you will calculate the length of the body inside the liquid. Why you can calculate from this? From this, why you will calculate from this equation. Once you got y x equal to h minus y, you will substitute x here, remaining all known values, then you will come across extra force required to keep the body submerged completely in the liquid. So this is the concept. This is what you need to understand. Once go through it. We'll discuss one more example. Yes, let us see another example on the concepts of laws of flotation. A wooden block of mass m and height h is made to float in a liquid. It is made to float in a liquid. Yes, whenever it is floating, usually what we write, the weight of the body mg should be balanced by Vn into dl into g. Of course, let us suppose it's a cross-sectional area A and x is the length of the body that is inside the liquid. Of course, you can write Vn as cross-sectional area into length of the body inside into dl into g. Now, little bit more. A small iron piece of mass m is placed on the wooden block so that it is just submerged. Shall I repeat? A small iron piece of mass m is placed on the wooden block so that it is just submerged. Now your wooden block is just submerged. Like this. Now how will be your equation? Here weight of the body means m plus m into g, because here weight is wooden block weight and iron piece weight, equal to Vn into dl into g. But here Vn means cross-sectional area of the body into height of the body, because total volume is inside. So a small iron piece is placed on the wooden block so that it is just submerged completely. Means that is how you should write the equations. See, I don't tell you a solution to a particular question. I tell you the concept that makes you to find a solution for any type of the question. So you learn the concept. Don't learn the solution. Try to understand the solution. Try to get the solution on learning the concept. That's why I'm not taking here any particular question numerically and I'm explaining. I'm taking the generalized concepts. Sometimes you may say, sir, I didn't place my piece of iron on the top of wooden block if I have attached it to the bottom so that it is floating. See the difference. See the difference. You have placed it at its top. Now you are placing it at its bottom. Whenever you have placed at the bottom, yes, still whenever it is floating, it's a down thrust mg, but of course it is m plus m into g, weight of the wooden block with iron piece. M plus m into g equal to upthrust. Here upthrust Vn into dl into g. Now once look at the right side portion, because left side portion doesn't have any change. M plus m into g equal to Vn, volume inside. What volume is inside the liquid? Yes, it is volume of the iron piece plus volume of a part of the body, not completely. Volume of the body, something is present inside the liquid, into density of liquid into G. See, earlier here, some volume of the body is inside, that is X column of the body is inside, here. Here H column of the body is inside, just submerged. But here it is floating so that some volume already displaced by iron piece. So upthrust is caused because of liquid displaced by iron piece and also liquid displaced by wooden block. But here certainly this will be less than X. Because here X column of liquid displaced by the body, then that is equal to upthrust, that is causing upthrust. But here already some liquid volume displaced by iron piece which causes upthrust, in addition to that liquid displaced by the body. So certainly that this y will be less than that x. Then this is volume of iron piece. Mass of iron piece by density of iron piece plus volume of the body present inside A into y whole brackets into density of liquid into G. Of course you can cancel G on either sides. This is how you can write an equation for m plus m into G. Whenever you are coming across the numericals, few terms in those equations will be known, the other terms should be calculated. So here your iron piece is placed on the wooden block, but here it is placed at the bottommost portion of the wooden block. That's the difference. So here the volume of the liquid displaced by the body only, but here volume of the liquid displaced by the iron piece and also by the wooden block. That's what you need to understand. Of course, if you wish to write here, you can write the condition for completely submerged. But partially floating I have written an equation. This is how you can handle placing an iron piece over the wooden block or at the bottommost portion of the wooden block. Then how will be the equations? Based on this concept, you should be able to get solution for any type of numerical applications. So we discuss one more example. Of course, we are trying to conclude with that example. Still, if any numerical questions you are having doubts, we can discuss during live interaction. The next topic that we are going to discuss now, it is floating of an ice in a liquid. How do an ice block floats in the liquid, and what happens if the ice block is going to melt? Because whenever ice block melts, it melts into water. So if your ice block is floating in a liquid and later it is melting, then what is going to happen? What can we observe? That we are going to discuss. Once note down. Yes, let us discuss an example here. An ice block is floating in a liquid. Of course, not only ice block, any body can float in a liquid when density of the body less than or equal to density of the liquid. Suppose for some time, my ice block is partially floating under the condition density of the body less than density of the liquid, and an ice block is floating partially in a liquid. Once look at this figure. Here, an ice block is partially floating in a liquid under the condition density of the body less than density of the liquid. Of course, let me tell you that density of ice is 0.9 gram per cc, density of ice. And let us suppose the mass of ice block is m. So here is an ice block floating in a liquid. Whenever ice block is floating in a liquid, immediately my equation is down thrust equal to up thrust. Means mg, weight of the body, equal to up thrust Vn into dl into g. Let me cancel g on either side. This is the main equation. Whenever ice block floating in a liquid, then on cancelling g, m equal to Vn into dl. Of course, V in stands for volume of the body present inside the liquid. So I can write this one as volume of the liquid displaced, because the volume of liquid displaced is equal to volume of the body present inside the liquid, which is m by dl. Wait, you will come to know why I have written this equation. You will come to know, wait, the purpose of writing this equation. So whenever an ice block is floating partially in a liquid, then the volume of the liquid displaced by the ice block is m by dl. M is the mass of the ice, dl is the density of the liquid in which it is floating. Now whenever the ice block is floating, because of temperature conditions and all, your ice block may melt. Yes, whenever your ice block has melted, then it melts into water, particularly water. This may be any liquid, this can be any liquid, but your ice block certainly particularly melts into water. Then due to that, some volume of water can be obtained in place of ice block. Ice block melts completely, water will be obtained. Then how much volume of water will be obtained? Let me write. Volume of water obtained or formed. Volume of water formed on melting ice is equal to mass by density. But here mass means mass of the ice block only, because conservation of mass. If 10 grams of ice melts into water, you will have 10 grams of water. Because conservation of mass. Mass neither created nor destroyed. By whose density? Water density, because you are calculating volume of water obtained when ice is melting. So that volume of water formed is m by dw. So finally, your volume of liquid displaced by the ice block is m by dl, and when ice melts into water, your volume of water formed is m by dw. If the volume of water obtained on melting ice is more than volume of liquid displaced, then what do you say? Think of it a minute, don't be hurried. Here when ice block is floating in a liquid partially, the volume of liquid displaced by the ice block is m by dl. But now my ice block has just melted and the water obtained in that vessel is having volume m by dw. But my water obtained is more than liquid displaced. For example, 10 cc volume of liquid is displaced by the ice. But I have got 15 cc volume of water is obtained. 15 cc volume of water is obtained, whereas the 10 cc volume of liquid is displaced by the ice block. Then what will happen? When ice melts completely, this space occupied by the ice block can be replaced by 10 cc of water already, but you have 15 cc of water and 5 cc of water is extra. So that what will happen? The length of liquid column rises in the vessel. This is my conclusion actually. The length of liquid column rises in the vessel when ice block has melted. Because on melting ice, here I am writing, on melting ice, volume of water obtained is more than volume of liquid displaced, then liquid column will rise. Because I told you an example, if an ice block partially floating has a displaced 10 cc volume of the liquid on occupying some space. But when ice melts, you have got 15 cc of water. Means this water will replace the 10 cc occupied by the ice already, and extra 5 cc, additional 5 cc volume will cause the rise in level of the liquid. Of course, when this is going to happen, means m by dw is greater than m by dl. This indicates that dw must be less than dl. Means here you need to connect this point. If the ice is floating in a liquid whose density is more than that of water, then the liquid column will rise on melting ice. This is the conclusion. Sir, no sir. On melting ice, if volume of water obtained on melting ice is less than volume of liquid displaced by the ice. Here liquid displaced is 15 cc, but water obtained is 10 cc only. Means entire volume has not been replaced by the water. Then automatically liquid column falls in the vessel. You can find the level of liquid falls. The level of liquid column falls than earlier. Level of liquid column falls further. But this will happen when m by dw is less than m by dl. That means dw is greater than dl. Means when ice is floating in a liquid whose density is more than that of, when ice is floating in a liquid whose density is less than that of water, then liquid level falls. Very simple to remember. If ice is floating in a liquid whose density is more than that of water, then liquid level rises. If ice is floating in a liquid whose density is less than that of water, then liquid level falls. This is how you can remember. Sir, if ice is floating in a liquid whose density is equal to that of the liquid, then liquid level remains same on melting of ice. Liquid level remains same on melting of ice. Means simply to say your ice is floating in water, then dw equal to dl. If your ice is floating in water, then this dl is replaced by dw. then volume of water displaced is volume of water obtained. So that liquid level remains same even on melting ice. So this is all the concept of floating of a body in a floating of ice in a liquid and variation in the level of liquid on melting ice. So I am concluding. If an ice block is partially floating in a liquid and the ice melts after some time, then what happens to the level of liquid column in the vessel? So these are the different possibilities. And I told you even the clue to remember. Let me repeat. If the ice block is floating in a liquid whose density is more than that of water, then liquid column rises on melting of ice. Simple logic. Like that, this application, like that, this application. If ice is floating in the liquid, which is water, ice is floating in water, means that dl equal to dw. Then the level of liquid column rises even after melting of ice. This is one more interesting application on the concepts of laws of flotation.